Call the meeting to order, and we'll start with roll call with Bob Wyatt.
Bob Wyatt.
Paula Richter.
Vicki McKinney.
Vicki Alston.
Kimberly McMichael.
Philip Butler.
Brent Huss.
There's no work session scheduled in November. The next board meeting is scheduled for Monday, December the 9th, 2024. The meeting is at Central Office, Administrative Office, located at 511 Harrington Highway, Eden, North Carolina. A swearing-in ceremony for new and re-elected board members will take place during the meeting. Access the latest agendas from the Rockingham County Board of Education by following these steps. Go to go.board.rock/board.nsf/public. Click on meetings. Select the date of the meeting you're interested in and choose View the Agenda. We welcome Pastor Tommy Alberson from Providence Baptist Church this morning for our prayer.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we acknowledge your sovereignty over all things. We acknowledge you are sovereign simply because you created all things. Even though you are sovereign, you are also full of grace, mercy, and love that you extend to us. So we say thank you. Now we bring our request to you. May your Spirit be felt in this place. May your Spirit set the tone for this meeting that has begun. May each one tap into the wisdom you offer as decisions are made that affect administrators, teachers, students, and parents. May the ones making these decisions not take lightly the responsibility placed before them. We make this request in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much for being here this morning. Mr. Wyatt, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the agenda.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Dr. Stover?
Good morning, Madam Chair, board members. Fellow board members would mean that I would have your job, and I think that's a really, really hard job. And that is actually why I rise today. One of the favorite parts of my job is being able to recognize the great things that our students and staff do. And we don't often get to recognize the board, but today I want to recognize the board for both their commitment to the students in Rockingham County. It's measured in all kinds of ways. You are at everything. You guys are a very active board and are in the schools, seeing things for your own eyes, which I don't know is the case with all boards. We had 5 board members. The reason we had this meeting on Wednesday is because we had 5 board members at the North Carolina School Boards Association meeting, getting more training. And last year, everyone on the board did an outstanding job, and the board has been recognized by the North Carolina School Boards Association with the Bell Award. And I think the best way to do that is just to read the letter that is accompanying, and I think I can probably even pull it up here, and so the public can see how well I am at reading as well. Okay. Well, that was too complicated. I'm not going to download it, so I'll just read it, and they can believe me. Congratulations. I'm very pleased to present you with your school board's Bell Award for whole board recognition with an exclamation point. This honor is given to school boards when every member of the board has earned training credit during the previous academic year. The Bell Award is given at 2 levels. A Gold Bell Award is given when all members of the board have earned 12 or more hours of training between July 1st and June 30th of the following year. A silver bell, which would be appropriate for Christmas time, I think, award is given when all members of the board have earned some training during that same period. I recognize the board's service is a demanding role that requires time away from family and friends. However, this work enables every student to enjoy the educational opportunities provided by your district. Your work ensures a secure North Carolina for years to come. Thank you for your service and congratulations. We want to recognize the board.
Thank you, Dr. Staver. We have no public comments today. Do we have board comments?
Yes, I had one thing.
Okay.
It'll actually be coming up next meeting, which I'll be off by then, won't vote, but I wanted everyone to know where I stand. As far as the strict requirements for the teachers on blue jeans, I wish we wouldn't go there and allow that up to the individual schools, as opposed to, we've dumbed down the dress policy for students since I've been on board, and we're getting stricter on the teachers, so I'm opposed to it. In fact, if it does pass, does that mean that Bob, if you're wearing jeans, will you be able to come to the board meetings? But thank you, that's all I had.
Okay. Anyone else?
Along that line, I would say everybody here's been a teacher. You go out in the mornings to welcome those little youngins from their car into the building. It might be raining, cold, whatever. I think we've got too many restrictions on teachers, and I agree with Brent. But that comes up. We'll talk more about it.
Anybody else?
I do.
Okay.
I just want to say congratulations to McMichaels, to their volleyball team, and to Coach Marty Woods for their 2A state championship. I think that I saw this was her 836th career victory. So I just want to say congratulations to her and to McMichael. And then on Veterans Day, I was able to attend a breakfast at Monroeton with students and veterans, and then I headed over to Western Rock Middle for their Veterans Day program. That's such a great program. Their band played, the chorus sang, the students read poems, and Miss Ray had 3 generations of service members there representing her family, including her sister and grandfather, who were both veterans. And then I went from there to Bethany to help serve lunch. Ms. Rickstraw attended, and we served lunch to veterans in the community and their families. And I didn't get a head count for how many veterans actually showed up, but there's a huge veteran wall, and people are able to submit pictures of their, their family members who served. And then after lunch was served, everybody moved over to the gym for a student-led program honoring the veterans. House Representative Reese Pirtle and Congresswoman Virginia Fox was there, and they honored Mr. Collins, who's recently turned 100 years old. And as a veteran, he was there participating in Veterans Day. And I know that there's probably other programs that go on across the county, but if a school does not, I just want to encourage them to please consider having these celebrations in their school and encouraging our communities and our students to honor veterans. And it was just great. And so I also got to attend the State School Board Association. That was great. We went through several meetings and got to sit in on some great trainings. And then I know that I was unable to attend several science fair different invites, but I do appreciate the invitation, and I'm sorry that I'm unable to attend things on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I also wanted to say that I'm looking forward to the middle school academic challenge coming up. I think it's coming up is it next week or the first week of December? So we look forward to that.
December.
That's it.
Okay. Anybody else?
I would like to say that I was invited to judge science projects, Ms. Rexstraw and myself, at Central Elementary. And I'm going to tell you folks, they are some smart kids. Some of the things they explained to Mrs. Rexstraw and I was unbelievable that a child that age would know all about this. But Central always puts on a great science fair. In fact, I've already told them I will come back next year to judge projects. So it's nice to see that caliber of education is going on in our school system.
Yeah, I'll go next. So I did enjoy the Veterans Day programs. They were fantastic, and it just means a lot to see our schools instilling the civic duty of being an American. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. And it was great to see Mr. Collins. It's always good to see him at those events. And everybody did their own thing to honor those veterans, and it was just beautiful to watch the children light up in respect of those veterans. And so it is important for us to continue to recognize people who sacrifice so much for us individually and for our country as a whole. So I do appreciate that. And the science fair projects were great. And I want to congratulate Mr. Wyatt and Miss McKinney and Miss Austin and Mr. Rakes, who will be here in December for their re-election and election. But Mr. Huss, I just want to say, because I know next month will be busy, but I would like to say that I've enjoyed serving with you. You were the board chair and I was the vice chair when I first came on, and I appreciated you, your leadership and just your help along that way. So thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And I'm excited. And last but not least, it's so great to see our principals and assistant principals in the room. I know you guys are busy, and we just appreciate y'all taking time out this morning to come and be with us and listen to what's going on and being here for us. So thank y'all.
I enjoyed going to Monroe also. They did a fabulous Veterans Day program and breakfast. It was great. And South End, I was just appalled at the students with the science fair projects. They were fabulous and phenomenal, and I just give a lot of shout outs to the teachers over there. And Reidsville's in the playoffs for football again, and Ms. Rakestraw and Ms. McMichael and I had the pleasure of working the concession stand last Friday night, and that was lots of fun. We had a great time and look forward to doing it again. So shout out to the Reidsville High School football team. They're doing a great job. Thank you so much. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make that motion to approve the consent agenda.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. So we'll move on to action item, the approval of community use of school facilities.
Good morning, Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Stover. I think I'm going to pull this out because it's a challenge for me to lean over that. One of the things I want to explain to the public is that policy really belongs to the board. So there is a committee that meets monthly, and we review policies that are current or policies that are proposed by the North Carolina School Board Association. And our job is to look at those policies and to make sure that they are applicable and are good for our school district. And also, many of those policies may be required, while some may be optional. But one of the things that is truly about this is the process. The board policy committee goes through these policies, they review them, and they ultimately pass the policies. So as we look at this one particularly, this is one in which, because there are fees involved in this, we felt it very important to come before the board, not only for the board to understand what those fees might look like. And I want to say this policy has gone through review several times. It's been in front of our finance committee, which is composed of 3 individuals. It's been in front of our board policy committee, which is involved of 3 individuals. So on the board specifically. And then central office staff and others may come in to help consult or give information. This particular policy we want to have in front of the board because we want the community to be aware of our transparency when it comes to these fees, and we want the board to be able to review. And so I will just say, for those of you that are on the board, I'll do my best to scroll down through this document, but I've got my hard copy. If you've got a copy or can scroll down, please do, but I'll do my best to scroll down. And I don't know if I can make this much larger, but I can figure out how to make it larger. Probably
it won't scroll.
Let's get you out of this.
Okay.
You are going to be second.
Did I? Yes, I did get it. Okay. So this is a community facilities use of our facilities. And I won't be boring and read all through it. But basically, this policy is set in case that we have organizations that want to use our facilities. And the big changes are in our community use of school facilities, the regulation. So I'm not that there's anything significant. We really haven't changed the policy per se, but I did want the community to see these. However, where I really wanted to go through this with the board is our regulation. So we've rewritten this. We wanted to make sure that we gave our principals the opportunity to exactly know the guidelines and the steps by which they would follow this. So as you can see, an applicant will make a $50 security deposit, and they will apply to the principal for an application to use the facility. The principal will then look to see if they have staff or other individuals who would like to work the event. The principal will then assign that staff to work that facility, which there will be a fee, they will be paid. And then they will also have to have a certificate of liability. Now, where we changed this a little bit is that we wanted to make sure that the certificate of liability actually covered the date of the event. Sometimes we just get blanket ones, and we get those turned in, and then it doesn't cover the exact date. So we want to make sure that the communities understand that we would like for them to have it, would cover that rental period. They write the check. The principal then, ensures that the application is completed. They determine the availability, as I mentioned. If there is a significant use of, say, there's going to be 1,000 people. I can think of a couple of different events that happen in our county during that time. This would be where they would contact Mr. Gladio, our safety director, just to ensure that there might not be a need for off-duty police officers or security, and if that would entail additional cost, okay? Only because traffic can be, when you've got 1,000 people coming in and out of a facility, when you have people coming in randomly off of the street to an event, you want to make sure that your event is safe, right? So we did that. Then they would make any comments or make any statements about the event during this time, and I'm hoping this will roll for me. It's not acting like it wants to. There we go. They will ensure that the check is there. They will send it on to the finance department, okay? And then the finance department will process it. I won't bore you with all of the reading. They'll take that check, they'll take the deposit, they'll check to see if there's availability. All of those things are there. And then they will then, now let me say this, an application can be denied if there is not a $50 deposit attached, or if there is no liability insurance, or if the facility is already going to be used. The principal can deny it at that time. Also from the finance department, if, for example, let's say there's a group that wants to use something, but they are late paying for something that's happened previously. The idea is we would like to collect that revenue, in a timely manner. Then very quickly, they receive the information back. They get their approval. Once everything happens for the school, the principal then signs off, sends the timesheets over after the event has occurred, making sure that the finance department has that information. I'm going to roll down to page 4 here. And they'll send those to them in a timely manner. And then finance will notify the applicant and issue the invoice. Where I would like to just make sure that we are clear, and we've tried to go back and forth with various different groups to make sure that we're covering the right groups and we're thinking about all groups, and being there is these groups that we have identified. So we've identified school-sponsored related groups. So any boosters, any clubs, any bands, band competitions, anything such as that that's related to a school. Non-school and nonprofit, public interest agencies, rural fire departments, YMCAs, cities and towns, parks and recs, community colleges, political parties, forums, and nonprofit like youth sports leagues that might come in and want to host an event. And then finally, government agencies like county agencies, dance recitals, church rentals, class reunions, fraternal organizations. Let's say some kind of a fraternal organization would like to host an event. Obviously, we want to recognize that, businesses, civic clubs, and local competitions. Now, where I just want the board, to approve and to be sure that you are in agreement is to look at the facility fees. Now, this is a little, for our public, just a little bit, I don't think I can I rotate it? Yes, I can. Right there. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little larger. That's too large. There we go. That's about as large as it can go. So for this, I want you to see just in red, these are the changes we made. And as the Finance Committee reviewed these, one of the things that they had to take into consideration was the cost of using the facility. When a large group, say 1,000 people, come in your facility and use your auditorium for 3, 4, 5 days for different things, there's water flushing, there's air that's on, there's heat that might be had, there's custodial services, there's someone running the program or running the event, and there's use of our facilities where they're using other rooms, such as band rooms or chorus rooms. And in the course of that, we have to be able to at least break even. We've also kind of just to be open and transparent, many of the places that we've checked out that could be rented for other facilities were still way below what most facilities will charge for the use of something for a full day. Like, you might be able to rent something for a full day, but you might pay, for example, a wedding. If you're going to pay for a wedding, you could pay up to $6,000 for a venue. And I realize that that's apples and oranges, but when we're talking about space, we're still talking about a facility. But as you see, we have no fees for our school-sponsored and school-related groups. These groups, everything will be for them will be free. But for our nonprofit, non-school public agencies, we will work through these with increases there that you see in red. And then we also had some increases for our local governments, private groups, for profit. Now, I do want to tell you, just so you know, because I know this is very important to the board, where does that money go? Well, the facility rentals, 40% will go to the utilities of those facilities, okay? Then 35% will go to maintenance because things get torn up or things get dirtied and people have to fix things. Doors get just, broken and mishandled. But then 25% will go back to the schools. And the Finance Committee worked to really look at what was the cost, what was the district's cost, what would be what we would need for maintenance to repair something, and the cost of that. Let's say a door gets damaged. Well, it's not just the maintenance of, but it's also how do we've got the repair, the work of our maintenance guys to get out there and do it. That takes away time from something else. So we looked at that, but we also wanted to make sure our schools received those fees. And that is where and then just the last page, which I don't know that, we wanted to kind of show you this as well. And I'll have to flip it back around. This is the facility rental agreement. And again, they are to apply with the $50 non-refundable security deposit, and they pay within 10 days of the event. We've added that. And we wanted to make sure that we had the proof of that $1 million liability insurance to the application, and again, applicable to that day. So that is the facility cost and the fees and the schedule that we are proposing today that you approve. Any questions from the board?
Dr. Corcoran?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Under on the fee schedule where you list out everything.
Yes, ma'am.
And the no charge. So for the groups,
right,
are truly our programs that feed our high school football teams and our middle school teams. You've got a charge here listed, $35 per hour. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and then to the right of that, $100 per hour for local agencies for profit and for individuals and businesses. Was that supposed to be per hour or per day?
That is per hour.
Per hour. Okay. I just wanted you to clarify.
We haven't. Let's see. I'm sorry. Tennis courts per hour. Purpose fields. I'm just making sure I'm seeing that per day.
It's specifically the youth football that
and football lights, or which one is that, ma'am? I'm sorry. It's
no, it would be under outside facilities.
Okay.
Baseball or softball field, and then beneath it, instead of saying football field, it says stadium field. Because I guess that we listed it that way in case because some of our fields are used by soccer teams.
Yes, they are. That's it. Yes, okay. That's correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
So if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to, because I think we want to be really ready to move on this if we're going to approve it, if you are going to approve it. And then we would, and I'm under the understanding from the Finance Committee, we're going to honor what is currently in place until we begin, this policy starts as of January 2025. I think that's the date that we said we would begin to honor these changes. That gives our groups enough time to consider everything. Tell me if that's correct, Ms. Rexraw. I just want to make sure, because I know we've talked on the Finance Committee when we felt we would need to move to make these costs in place.
I'm pretty sure we said January of 2025, right?
I think
Committee
so.
members, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just have a comment, I guess. This is we're going from something that we have had that has been very non-complex to what I think is now very complex. And so I just would ask that the community be patient, ask your questions, but know that we're not trying to make money off of this. We're trying to support our schools who are, we're utilizing their area, and it is. And in a lot of cases, it does get damaged. And so we've got to be able to cover those costs of that. And then I think that we also need to give ourselves some grace and make sure that we're evaluating this on a regular basis, which I'm sure staff will, to make sure that we aren't gouging and that we are covering costs. I mean, I certainly don't think we're gouging anybody, but certainly just being able to cover costs that we have. I think about the chairs. With theater, when it's really, those auditorium chairs are expensive. Well, we're charging 50 cents, 25 cents.
Right.
That won't nearly cover the cost of those if something were to happen. But anyway, so I hope that I hope staff will continue to evaluate it, make sure that we're within our realms and covering what we need to cover. But I also ask that the community be patient and just ask your questions, and we may have to work through some what ifs and that
I'm sure
sort of
there will
thing.
be some scenarios in which we will have not thought of, as both of these committees have tried to think about various different scenarios. I'm sure there'll be some scenarios that we still have not completely considered, and we'll just have to work through those. The other I would say is for the community, I'm going to ask Ms. Ellis just to share this with me. I think it was 2009. Was it 2009 the last time that the facilities agreement for cost was was put together, or was it 2006? I believe it was. Okay. So, it's been a long time coming. 2009 is a long time for having not changed your facility fee agreement. Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Corcoran, I just want to say that I really do appreciate all the work that's gone into this. I do have one more comment, and that is, has there been any discussion with our municipalities for how this will impact our teams? Like, I know here in the city of Eden, Holmes uses Freedom Park, and Reidsville High School uses stuff at JC Park. So if we're going to start charging for those entities to use our facilities, what's that going to look like on our school district? I just want to leave that. I just want to say we need to consider.
I'm going to leave that as a comment so that we can
I do want to leave that as a comment, because I don't think that we wanted to make any decisions that impact the growth of our
sports leagues.
Of our sports leagues.
Okay.
Well, and our arts
Or encourage
too,
those groups to go to not use our school fields.
And Ms. McMichael, our intent is we have agreements with the municipalities. Apparently, I'm not very well good at speaking in the mornings. With the municipalities for shared services, and we will continue to honor those agreements. Same thing with the YMCA. We are going to look at costs to make sure it's equitable so that we're not losing money. But our intent is to continue to honor those agreements that we've already established with them.
Okay.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion to approve the policy?
I make that motion to approve the policy as it's written.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Perkins?
Good morning, Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Stover. Come to you today seeking your approval of our 17 non-low performing school improvement plans. The principals and schools have been working on the plans since this summer, reviewing data, completing comprehensive needs assessment. They've had a peer review process with other principals to review and get feedback, and many of them are here today for any questions that you may have. We'll be glad to answer any questions, but we're seeking your approval of the plans.
Do we have any questions?
I don't. I do want to say congratulations to these schools for their hard work, and just thank them for these plans.
Do we have a motion to approve the plans?
Madam Chair, I'll make the motion to approve the plans.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Dr. Perkins.
Thank you, and thank you to our principals for coming today.
Thanks to all the principals and all their hard work. We'll move on to reports. Mrs. Young?
Good morning, Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Stover. As you all know, Rockingham County Schools has a planned service agreement and that has been in place for some time, and that agreement has been typically through JCI, Johnson Controls Incorporated, and it is to service our HVAC equipment. And in order to be good stewards of our funds, our maintenance department and operations will go out to bid for these services. And what we currently have, we have 3 highly qualified HVAC technicians on site. And so we are requesting as we seek competitive competition for that same agreement to stay in place. And we know that it is hard to obtain HVAC personnel with those license requirements, especially with the classified salaries that we offer. So we do want to remain competitive. We want the services to remain high quality, but we do want to seek competitive competition. So we'll be going out to bid in January and then coming back to you, hopefully with a good competitive company in February. Any questions?
Hold on.
Appreciate you taking it out for bid.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much. Dr. Corcoran?
Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Stover, Ms. Ward and I are here today to give you an update about our Kids Companion Program. As you know, the Kids Companion Program is a program that Rockingham County has as a separate entrepreneur kind of program. It basically provides before and after school care to children during the school year, and then there is a summer program. And so today we're just going to give you an update, and I'll set that because, as you can recall, last year we came to you in the spring to ask you about increasing fees. So we increased our fees, and I'm going to let Ms. Ward, our child care specialist that runs and does a fabulous job of working with our after-school programs across the county, talk with you a little bit about those rates from last year to this year for us and what that means.
Thank you, Dr. Corcoran, and thank you to the board. Yes, I just wanted to touch base a little bit on what our rates were and what they have gone to. Again, registration went up $20 from last year to this year. The supply fee went up $5. Before care went up $1 a day. After care went up $2 a day. Before and after, of course, a combination, up $3 a day. And all day care day went up $5. The new rates went into effect in June, which affected our summer camp kids going from the school year to summer camp. We did not have a whole lot of pushback on that. A lot of parents just expected that was coming with the price of living and all that. It did wonders for our summer camp program, made us, our registration fees were a prominent feature in that. Our enrollment per site right now is, looking really, really great. Even Lincoln Elementary, which we have tried to build their numbers, have gone up a few kids. And Monroe is still a very big site. Wentworth is great. Although the attendance has gone up really well. We're looking now at building morning care enrollment to let parents know and putting out more information there to let them know that we offer that in the mornings. So that's something we're really focusing on at the moment. This is an example of our summer camp flyer, something I put together to hand out at, like if we have bulletin boards across the community that we can advertise, or have an event like open house or kindergarten registration where they just want information about our program and what it kind of looks like, what our pricing looks like, what our hours are, and just general information for the families. These are our actual kiddos. I took pictures of them, got special permission from their parents, and they so loved seeing their own children, playing and enjoying our program on the flyer. So I spoke a little bit about summer and what that did, like how that looked for us from last summer to this summer. It included the months of June, July, and August. Activities last year, we went skating, bowling, we did science center with the kids. Some of the things that we were able to do, like, go and take them to restaurants, go in Splash Park at Freedom Park, movies, a big finale celebration that we had for the end of summer. The revenue that we took in for last year was $146,194.30. This summer, we were able to do even more activities with them. Some of our schools went to the North Carolina Zoo. We did a big talent show, a county talent show, where all the kids got to perform and the parents got to come watch. It was really, really cool. And it fell on a day we had some inclement weather, so we were kind of like iffy about whether we'd get to put it on, but it was really cool. It turned out great. Went to the fire departments, the libraries, the little programs they have for the kids there. The revenue taken in for this year was $185,000. So, it went up quite a bit, and that was with that rate increase. I think that really helped our program a lot. Just to go back and recap on what that rate increase did for our after school care instead of summer camp, we took the month of October because it was a very stable month. It was one where it was a full month, no holidays really in there. So last October, we took in $65,871. This October, $78,487, a difference of $12,000. Made our program I feel like we feel like it's very stable at this moment with that rate increase. We have been able to utilize the stabilization grant funds to find our way back from the black from last year's audit where they reported that we were in the red. The grant and this rate increase has allowed us to remain stable, keep our current rates and everything like that the same. We feel very good about where the grant has left us and where these rate increases has helped us. Some of the other things that the stabilization grant has allowed us to do, upgrading our center's technology, new iPads, new interactive touch screens, supplies and materials for the daycare, new games, updating to carts, things like that. Providing relief for parents, whether it was, parents that needed child care relief or summer activities, some we were able to cover for the parents. We even, like a few years back, we did book bags filled with school supplies for registration gifts for our families. And we've been able to stabilize our staff with quarterly bonuses and attendance incentives, which they have just raved about. They love that. Our recommendations from this point is assuming that we are able to remain here, break even, make sure, we're not in it for a huge profit, but making sure that we maintain our enrollment, build our enrollment up, keep our staff remaining stable. We recommend that we maintain these current rates at this time, also considering that in the future, pay increases, changing to the health benefits, retirement, things like that we can't foresee at this moment, that we would reevaluate and determine a need for a rate increase in the spring of 2026-27 to take effect in the 27-28 school year.
So just to recap, we feel very, very confident at this point. Our program is in the black. It is not in the red now. We feel good about the amount that we are in the black in. Last we were told, or the number that we recently received was like 129,000 to the good. And we have to foresee, we have to have that kind of a little buffer because, for example, a student that may come in with a disability that has a need to have a diaper change or has a wheelchair, we want to be able to accommodate them when we can. And when that happens, a lot of times we have to hire new staff just to help with that particular site. So we have to kind of keep those things, those emergency information, or emergency circumstances. We have to have that little bit of a cushion. All of our costs mostly are our staff, paying for the staff to provide these services. We're not in this to make a lot of money, but I believe that this year, good news, I think when the auditors report, we're going to be in the black, not in the red. So we wanted to open it up for any questions if you have any.
I just want to know where y'all are going to get to go for a field trip this coming summer.
Well, I'm working on that. I'm looking at the Science Center has done some expansion since the last time we did a group trip there. I'm really excited about that. Some of the other things are looking into. This past summer, we actually worked out a situation with the Burlington Movie Theater where they opened specifically just for us, and all of our schools can come together and watch the most updated movie. The kids love that. They get to sit in the little recliner chairs. So that I'm looking at some airports in the, depending on what our theme is, because some of the schools do like STEM, some might do science or circus or something like that. So we base it on what their theme is and what that would look like for each site. We might do half the county somewhere else or do half and half, but I'm excited about this coming summer. I think it'll be really fun.
Well, we just wanted to bring this back and bring this to your attention. And again, we won't be coming in front of you for about 1.5 years, but at some point we may have to, again, just depending upon those cost increase for staff or for benefits. But thank you for allowing us this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Okay, we have no committee reports this morning, so we'll move on to Dr. Stover.
Let's see if my brain is caught up with my mouth today. Good morning, board members, Madam Chair. I will present to you my report for this month, focused on our strategic plan. Before I do that, I'd like to talk about some celebrations and updates, some of which have already been mentioned. Of course, we congratulate our Dalton McMichael girls volleyball team, winning the past 2 out of 3 state championships. And you are correct, Marty Woods is the winningest coach in the history of North Carolina volleyball, and I don't foresee that changing. Maybe that'll be one of those records that is really hard to beat. We also want to, and we will recognize, we are scheduled to have the 2 finalists for cross country and the volleyball team coming to our board meeting on December to provide them recommendation. We didn't want to pull them out of school for this month, so that's why we have that. On the 29th, and Mr. Butler was in attendance for this event, we had our AI feedback session for both parents and staff members, where we talked about our guidelines for AI, generative AI, artificial intelligence, and how we use that. We got great feedback. The team that presented it, which was our media specialist, our curriculum facilitators, they did a fabulous job. The whole CNI team, it was well done, well attended, and I think very effective. We want to congratulate Miss Dowdle, and if I butchered your name, I apologize, who was recognized recently at the State Special Ed Conference as a teacher of excellence for SPED. She is a instructor, a special ed teacher at Rock Middle. As you mentioned, it was great that our schools take time to honor veterans, my dad being a veteran himself. I particularly appreciate that. They give so much for our country, and it just shows what kind of county we're in when we take the time to do that. And it's also done so well. That's what, it's not just a fly-by-night, but it's very, very planned out. So I very much want to put that to your attention. And then I had a hard time coming home from the office on Monday because there was so much traffic going to my house. I actually turned around and went the back way. And the reason for that traffic was the fundraiser that was held at Santana's to support a Moorhead High School student who was involved in an accident. I heard, I can't verify this independently, that over $30,000 was raised. I know my wife sat in line for over an hour to pick up the food from Santana's. And again, the Veterans Day program are just so representative of our community and how important our school system is to the community and the community is to our school system. And so we really, really appreciate that. I can't say enough. I'm very humbled. Also for this board report, everybody likes pictures, so I have pictures for most of the things. Here we see AI night. Here's a picture, and I believe this is our parents. And I chose one that says, that had a little bit about what we presented. And if you'll look at the little picture there towards the right, if you can see that, that is actually an AI generated picture as well. Okay, and so as you know, our goal is to ensure that all of our students graduate with the skills they need to be successful doing the things they think they and their families think are needed. And so we have an update on a few things, some general updates. Matt Cropper, who is leading the capacity and growth study, informed me that he should have that by the end of the week. As soon as we get it to you, as soon as I get it, we will pass it along to you. I received the first draft of our strategic plan from our graphic designer. It looks great. I received that yesterday. There's some things we have to change, but overall, it looks really great. I'll send it to you for feedback and comments. So please feel free to do that. And then I'm scheduled to present this our strategy, the first one at the Eden Rotary Club, and I just want to let you know, in case anybody wanted to come with me and present, I think that would be a great opportunity. It's for their lunch meeting. and Renee can give you, I believe it's at 12, right? Yeah, great. All right, so our 3 areas, instructional excellence, the updates we have had, a lot of our instructional excellence is about providing training for our staff, and we've done a lot of that since we last reported to you. Specifically, we've had Geek Squad training for our prospective AIG teachers that is designed to have more people with the AIG certification. Our middle school teachers, working with UNC, have been doing the new science standards training. That's very hands-on. Excited about that. And we've also led the AI training with our lead teachers and our counselors. So that is going well. Another one of our levers was that we continue with the letters training. We have 2 cohorts currently going through the letters training that have not gone before. We had a great session with our migrant families, and I think I have pictures. First of all, here's the Geek Squad training, and then here's the engagement night for migrant families. And that was great. The idea is to help them be better prepared to help their students. We know how important the homeschool connection is. I was able to share with you in Board Matters the CTE monthly newsletter, which was so well done, very informative. And finally, our CNI team is really getting back into all our members. I know Dr. Corcoran spent all yesterday visiting schools, getting into schools, and we're seeing some really fabulous things. And I've provided a couple of pictures for you as well. One is from showing some group work, some small group instructions at our secondary schools. And then I know a lot of people are wondering about the letters training, and I think this picture right here really shows how comprehensive it is. And if you'll notice, it has those mouth positions as well on it, which is what we teach the kids. There is a real way to learn to read, and you have to, as I used to say as a principal, you have to break the code. Kids have to break the code, and we've learned more and more, and we're getting smarter and smarter about how to do that, including mouth positions. And if you ever go into a classroom when they're doing a phonics lesson, it's like a well-oiled machine, and the kids know it, and they actually like it. It's not the phonics kind of training that I had to, where you did a bunch of worksheets with TR and you had to write words out. This is real quick, embedded in the curriculum every day. With our excellent care and support, again, we've been busy there. The ISS team organized for all of our schools, Rachel's Challenge, for all of our secondary schools and 7 out of our 13 elementary schools. And that is a nonprofit formed after the Columbine incident. And it really is designed to promote a culture of kindness, acceptance, and unity. So we did that. The team has been doing the monitoring of the new SCB process to make sure we're doing it the right way and giving constructive feedback. We had the suicide and risk assessment training, and we continue to provide training for our principals on attendance. We have some really neat ideas. What I like is our principals are being very entrepreneurial. I know Principal Kemp at Dalton McMichael High School is doing some specific things, and his attendance as the last time we talked about this was 93%, which was a huge increase. So congratulations to our principals, some of who are here today. Here's an example of Rachel's Challenge, picture there. And then at Monroeton, and I think we shared this with you last time, but our attendance dashboard. Okay. And then finally, for our operational excellence, which is about supporting our staff and creating great environments for our kids. We have started roofing projects at Central and Lincoln. We are nearing completion of the roofing projects at Holmes and Reedsville High Schools. The Dalton McMichael High School track is completed. Looks fabulous. And the Reedsville High School lighting project has also been completed. Makes it much safer. And I don't know if you've noticed, we also have upgraded the lighting around the central office. We did that through working collaboratively with Duke Power, so it makes it safer for our staff here. And we're going to continue doing those. We're working with the county to get out our bond issuance. We continue to work on that, and we are having meetings, bid meetings for the rest of our roof projects that we have upcoming. We finally our North Carolina Teaching Fellows proposal was finally accepted. We signed the paperwork, and so we should be receiving those funds. Again, this is a grant that we are a part of, designed to increase the number of students who apply for the North Carolina Teaching Fellows program. That is our only metric that they are judging us by, is the number of applicants, and if it's renewable up to 4 years. So we're excited about that. And then finally, we're really trying to be very proactive on our budgeting and Education Resource Strategies, which is a nonprofit dedicated to helping school districts with funding. I've participated in a couple of staff development sessions with them, specifically on how can you ensure that your budget matches your strategic plan, and also that there are metrics that we all look at to say, is this a good use of our money? Are we meeting our bang for our buck? So I'll continue to work with that. I'm going to work with senior staff on how we can do that, and we want to start our budgeting process much earlier. I will take any questions anyone has about our strategic plan, any updates or anything that you have for me at this time.
I think AI is going to come to us next month with new guidelines for the school. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Again, that team is doing a great job, and I know there's some thoughts about AI, but it's here. And I want to be proactive instead of reactive if we can. I think we all heard from the part I could hear at the North Carolina School Boards Association. The students spoke about it, and I think the students understand that they still need to do their own work, but if we can use it to help our students and also help our staff members make their job easier and focus on those things like the small group instruction, the picture we saw, that's where the real teaching and learning to me comes in, is understanding what our students need and working with them effectively on what they need at that time. And I think AI, if we harness it the right way, gives even more potential for us to do that. So thanks. Other questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Stover. Okay, Mr. Butler, can you?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to move the board go into closed session to discuss confidential personal information pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A1 and 6, and to consult with our attorney to protect the attorney-client privilege pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A3.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So let's move into closed session in about 10 minutes.